רגע, אבל אז שוב העולם יגיד מה, אתם כובשים? אתה לא מפחד מהעולם, ביבי.
במיוחד היום עם אמריקה, אני יודע מה זה אמריקה. אמריקה זה דבר שאפשר להזיז אותו בקלות, להזיז לכיוון הנכון.
הם אומרים שהם בעדינו, אבל כאילו...
לא יכניעו לנו.
Satan. We're just the small Satan, they say, and we're just on their way. On their way to what? You know, Henry Kissinger said, and I think very intelligently, he said, Iran is not merely a country. It's much more of a cause. It's a cause more than a country. What is that cause? It's global domination.
Let my message today be very clear. We are watching, and we will come after you.
What the?
We're resolved, and we will stay the course until we achieve our objective. It makes eminent sense. I stand by those words. Afghanistan is still just the beginning.
We have the administration telling us they don't have any firm evidence that there's any connection between al-Qaeda or the acts of September 11th in Iraq. So I guess I want to ask you again, in light of those comparisons or whatever, why is it that you think that if all of these countries, in your words, are problems for us, why you would pick Iraq first as opposed to Syria, Iran, or the others?
Well, I think that it's not the first, it's the second. The first one was the Taliban. Now the question is, what is the second? I think...
Well, excuse me one second. You're making a connection between the Taliban and Iraq?
Yes, I am. I'm saying that if you look at those who harbor terrorists and those who support terrorists...
I guess I was looking for a connection between September 11th and my understanding why we went to the Taliban is there was a connection there. They were harboring somebody that we believed did the act on September 11th.
Yes, that's the first reason why you did it.
Now you're going to take me from September 11th to Iraq somehow?
Yes, but I'm saying something else. I'm saying the connection is not whether Iraq was directly connected to September 11th, but how do you prevent the next September 11th?
Right after 9/11, about 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years."
I've approved the deployment of up to 250 additional U.S. personnel in Syria, including special forces.
I want to thank you, Democrats and Republicans, for your common support for Israel, year after year, decade after decade.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And, you know, is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
The enemy of your enemy is your enemy.